AJ Brown called into, the competitor, the WIP, to state his case. And I think it set a terrible precedent. We're going to talk about the AJ Brown situation a little bit today. Why everybody's trying to run him out of town. We're going to talk Sixers. Do they stink? Do they not? I don't know. We're live taking your thoughts and opinions on this and anything you want to talk about. We're live 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, follow, whichever platform you are watching on right now. We've got people watching on 6 different platforms right now. So make sure you hit the buttons wherever you are watching and make sure you drop your questions, your comments, your thoughts, as this is the most interactive, friendly, not family, forget family. Most interactive morning show there is in Philadelphia where your opinions actually matter. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. At Beard of Knowledge everywhere on social media. Duck chiming in right away. AJ needs off social media when he's a bit annoyed. Yes, but I do want to cover that in Sixers. Yes, let Doc roll them over like a puppy, asking for a tummy rub, man. Yeah, absolutely. Phil is I don't know. You do a pretty good PM in the AM over there, my man, Patty Bernard, the Gobbler. One busy man on Sunday. What were you on? Like 7 different shows yesterday? Jeez. I mean, it's a Sunday. Take the day off. It's okay to do that. No, I'm just kidding. Great work yesterday from you. We got lots that I want to talk about today, guys. Marshawn already chiming in. 2 Sixers were not. Never going to compete with the Bucks last night. Yeah, absolutely not. But there was still a lot of questions or answers, depending on how you look at it, after watching that game. Pat Bernard is accidentally funny. Yeah, he is accidentally. No, he's serious. He knows what he's doing. I want to talk Sixers today, obviously. Are they good? Are they not? I don't know. I want to talk about this A.J. Brown situation, though. And as people start rolling into the comments, I think there's a lot that can be discussed around A.J. Brown. There really is. Good morning. I appreciate that. But the first part of the A.J. Brown situation that really annoys me is not WIP starting trouble. Not A.J. Brown, is it his account? Is it not his account? Get him off the social media, as Duck says. Whatever. I that's not what annoys me. I mean, it all does annoy me, but not the most. It's not that our media always tries to run stars out of this city, or fans do. That is not my number one problem with this whole scenario. My problem is that A.J. Brown actually called into the radio station. And it sets an awful precedent. We have spent so much time over the last couple of weeks, months, hell, since I started podcasting for years now, talk about integrity, talking about not just starting random rumors, not being a hot take clickbait site. WIP, a lot of these other channels, they do that. They do it for clicks and listens. We fall for it all the time. We talk about not falling for Chris Simpleton and his quarterback rankings, or Dan Sileo, and his dumb takes. We talk about this. WIP starts crazy rumors. Okay, so what's it do? It validates what they do business model-wise by getting A.J. Brown. Because now every one of us has to talk about A.J. Brown. Whether we're a tweeter, whether we're a content creator, whether we're just a fan, we're all talking about WIP now. So their click rate went up, their listen rate went up, their social media attention went up. All of a sudden, they went from getting a boatload of attention to getting 10 times more attention. And my problem is it sets a precedent where these people will continue to make asinine comments and rumors out of nowhere and try to stir up drama. Because they know if they catch the right ear, it might explode to something even bigger. It's like you don't see Jalen Hurts calling into Chris Sims, podcast or shows or whatever the hell he does, to put these lists out. The similar thing would be Jalen Hurts calling in to Chris Sims and be like, I don't like where you ranked me. That's disrespectful. So it basically validated clickbait media by A.J. Brown. If A.J. Brown wanted to say his piece, and this somebody told me that it comes off as me bitter that he didn't come on trending in the AM. I didn't try to get A.J. Brown on trending in the AM. A.J. Brown would never come on trending in the AM. I'm too much of a small little spoke in the wheel. But by going on the drama-creating site, WIP in this situation, he validated. He could have gone on his own social media. He could have had a friend that has a podcast make his piece. He could have called in a different radio station. He could have gone to 102.5 The Gambler. He could have gone to Edge of Philly. He could have gone to anyone on PSN. He could have gone to the Fanatic even. They weren't the ones that started the problem. Him going on WIP annoys me because it sets this precedent that this can continue to happen. Let me catch up some of these comments here. Keep AJ in midnight green. I don't know why people are trying to even say AJ Brown, get him out of here. Like it's ridiculous. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. We've crazy for a wide receiver. We've got one. Now let's just run him out of town. AJ flamed that radio show. They was backpedaling the whole time. Again, and Nitro, and I agree. But what he did by going on the show validated, hey, who cares? It's just a business. We just want clicks and listens. We'll say stupid stuff. The stars will call in to defend themselves, and then we'll get even more clicks. We'll make even more dollars to spread out. Audacity is, didn't they file for bankruptcy, the parent company of WIP? Well, it's just made that company a hell of a lot more money. And that is why, he was perfect on that interview. Said the right thing. I enjoyed hearing it. I'm glad AJ Brown's in Philly. But yet, what he did still was kind of wrong, in my opinion. And I might be out of line. I don't know, but that's the way I feel. I think more athletes should call out these nerds live. That's fine. Call them out. But don't call them out on their channel. Have them come to you. Don't bring them more attention. That's my problem. You just took an attention-seeking crazy person or site or company and gave them more attention. To me, that's annoying. What's up, K1? How you doing this morning? Sports media is all about baiting fans and with hate. Absolutely agree. But AJ not calling into WIP, maybe that counters that. Maybe that changes that. Maybe. But AJ needs to take a social media. He definitely needs to maybe stay off of Twitter. Just a little bit, maybe Instagram. I don't know. Look, athletes in general, I don't know if they have how deep it is, but the rookie symposium the NFL does, if anybody doesn't know what that is, all the rookies get together for a conference. They go over, how to handle their first big paychecks, money tips, housing, the drug rules, all the different things that they got to learn to be a professional football player. They need to spend an entire day just talking about social media to these young athletes, and teaching them so that we stop seeing these problems on social media and all. You can't take social media away from the kids, the players, but man, they got to learn how to manage it better for sure. AJ Brown cooked Ike Reeves and Jack Fritz, and it's not hard to cook Jack Fritz. They were caught with their pants down. But he gave them, that's fine. Do you think Jack Fritz and Ike Reeves care that they were cooked by AJ Brown? No. They know that their ratings just went through the roof. That's the problem. They got cooked, sure. Behind the scenes, they're they're just counting money. Yeah, look at us. Soros now owns a bulk of Audacity, but let's not go. Yeah, let's not get into all that. Yeah, absolutely. Lost a lot of respect for Ike Reeves, who had to explain to AJ who he was. That tells me a major disconnect and absence from the Eagles. Yeah, that's interesting. That might have just been a thing he said, but again, he didn't have to do it. At least AJ wasn't busted for betting DraftKings. Yeah, exactly. Also, the Phillies are back. That's right. 90. I saw your prediction. You were always so over the top with your predictions. We'll get into that. I did see something this weekend. That's that starting lineup yesterday for the Phillies. Trey Turner, not Kyle Schwarber in the leadoff spot. Interesting. Ike cares he was a player. He's embarrassed. I get it. But deep down inside, his bosses are like, yo, great job, Ike. Great job. Look at our click rate. It's through the roof. Look at our ratings. It's through the roof. That's all Ike Reese's bosses care about. That's all. Click rate. I stand with AJ's decision. He should have showed up in person. Who listened? A lot of people listen to WIP, Marshawn. Look, at the end of 2023, the morning show is the first show in 20 years. Even Angelo couldn't do this. To topple Preston and Steve on MMR as the number one listened to morning show in the Philadelphia market. They were always number two with Angelo behind Preston and Steve. And they beat them. So a lot of people still listen to WIP, and it's a problem. They shouldn't. There's plenty of options. All we do is bitch and moan about them while I listen to them. The only reason why they're preset on my phone is to listen to sport games, Phillies games or Sixers games, the little bit I'm in the car to listen to them. And that's it. And it's a shame because there are some good young up-and-comers. There are some good, radio personalities out there, but the majority, the main ones and the main 3 time slots at WIP and the Fanatic, they're all about click rate. And I get it. I'm a business owner. I actually understand what WIP did, and I'm okay with it because they're trying to make money. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying out all different new things on social media for my pizza shop. Why? Because I'm trying to make more money, trying to start up a conversation, trying to get the click rate up, which might make you more money. WIP just schooled A.J. Brown, the Eagles. They schooled the Fanatic on how to make money. Start drama, trick A.J. Brown into calling into the radio station, and watch the click rate go up. But then you got people saying, I still see people, and I don't want to name names. I don't know if he's watching or not, but, telling me that he's got to get out of town. A.J. Brown. That he's a problem. Man. Frustrating situation. Good morning, Adam. How you doing? We definitely need Embiid back ASAP. Oh, my God. I don't even think that matters at this point. Ike also works for the Eagles as a media correspondent. I know he does all the official Eagles live shows online. And there is that also that the Eagles are in bed with WIP. So that probably made it easier to get A.J. Brown on the air. Hell, it would not shock me if this was all a game between A.J. Brown and WIP, the Eagles, and Audacity. Yo, let's all make some more money on here. Like, it wouldn't shock me if that was the case. It's the Howard Stern effect. That's why they listen. Absolutely agree. It's shock jock media. It's click rate. I don't know if I could call it shock jock media anymore. In this day and age, it's called clickbait media, or not just clickbait media. Click rate media. They just want more clicks. That's it. Listening to the Sixers might be the best idea. These boys are hard. Dude, the Sixers are. That was I watched a lot of that game yesterday. It was a very hard watch yesterday against the Bucks. Very, very hard. I put on the final hour of the Mexico Open from Puerto Vallarta over some of that Sixers game yesterday. Eagles fan base is soft. AJ is not a leader, is not a character guy, and it's a symptom for a bigger problem. Maddie B. It's a cute comment. But it doesn't matter. He's not. He doesn't have to be the leader. He is a leader. Okay, there's a difference there. And yeah, he might have a bright character, but you know what? Would you rather have Travis Fulgham back in here? Every elite wide receiver is a diva, has a massive ego, has a big personality. Every elite wide. You go through the history of the NFL. Every elite wide receiver has a personality and a diva mentality in them. So I'd rather take that personality and those colorful antics over having Travis Fulgham or Jalen Reagor or Ortega Whiteside or Riley Cooper. Name any awful wide receiver we've had in the last 10, 15 years. WIP is still stupidly popular. Absolutely. Because there's a huge population, a huge part of our population, that's most of the north of 40 people, like me, except it's not me, that still turn it on. That has just been what they've been doing since their dad was doing it. That 40 to 80 range that are still in their car, they're not on YouTube. They're not on Spotify. They're not on wherever. Just turn the radio on. Listen to what's on. It's trying to break a habit of people. I get it. And you know what? What they do, what 50-year-old Eagles fan doesn't want to hear his favorite wide receiver calling in to bash like Reese? It's great television. Or great radio. You know what I mean? Big picture is they are making themselves part of the story, which will ultimately blow up in their face. The Eagles or the AJ Brown or WIP or both. I don't know. But it's still kind of frustrating. Sixers suck. Flyers are at least competitive. I mean, they did give up 7 goals yesterday, K1, didn't they? So you didn't think I knew what the Flyers score was yesterday, but I do. Howard Stern became the king. It became the thing he fought against. Disgrace. Yeah. This is what the corporate ministry wanted. The corporate ministry? Do they have a higher power? Ike and AJ went over the script and rehearsed. Like, honestly, in my mind, that happened, Marshawn. Ike was like, "Yo, AJ, call into my show. Look, just know you know how much we're gonna get out of this." Like, I would not be shocked, Marshawn, if I don't know about a script or a rehearsed, but I bet you there was a pre conversation on this. Yeah, Kelly Oubre, man. Those first 2 missed dunks, man. They weren't even close, man. Kelly Oubre is one of 2 things, but he's thing 3 on this Sixers team. Kelly Oubre is either a perfect complement to an elite team when Joel Embiid's here, coming off the bench, 20 minutes a game, 18 minutes a game, getting a buckets, or he's the top scorer on a lottery team. But what he is here is like the second or third option right now, and that's just not who Kelly Oubre is supposed to be. We're going to get more deeper into the Sixers as the show goes on. AJ never said he's the leader, but he's a team player. Yeah, he has a big personality. He is. Well, I mean, the leader part of it, he was voted or picked to be one of the captains of the team. So he is technically a leader on this team. And he's got to lead by example. His social media aspect is how he can lead by example a little bit better, in my opinion. Hunter Brody did Phillies post game. Great second special team game, and concerning Sixers lost the Bucks. What does he lead with? Eagles, AJ. Look, I get it. Look, you should be turning me off then, too, Mark. Because I could be talking Sixers right now, and I am talking them, but this is also part of it. Sure, I could talk Phillies, Trey Turner in the leadoff spot. Aaron Nola looking good, 2 innings yesterday. But the Eagles are what sells. You got to play the greatest hits. Eagles are the greatest hits. Where they say sex sells. That's what you got to play into. More people want to talk about the Eagles than anything else. That is what you got to do. Maddie longs for the days of Craig Ward and Josh Huff. Jeremy Bloom. Exactly. Congrats to Nappy. Yes, the Napster. Napster, the original Napster, wins the PGA on the PGA Tour. Yeah, that was pretty funny. We'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Adam. Another episode of Fairway to Heaven. We'll talk all about it. I started with Brookie and the Rookie. On the radio, I loved listening to Stan Hochman on the weekends with my dad, who used to deliver newspapers back in the late 80s, early 90s. Sonny Hill was also a weekend guy we listened to a lot. Mike Missinelli with Steve Fredericks, one of the early shows I remember a lot listening to as a kid. Radio is popular due to the captive audience. They're in their car. But see, the thing is, Big Al, like, it's just training this captive audience. They can listen to other stuff in their car. There are other options in the car. They can plug their phone. Most cars, you could plug your phone. My wife's car is 2007. We can plug our phone in and listen to our phone. So there are other options. It's just hard to break that habit because they've been doing it for so long. Love a young Jason Avant. Jason Avant was an underrated possession receiver, for sure. Amongst all the bad receivers, he was pretty good. But, he would look a lot different next to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So lower the team standards for the ability of the player. That's the point I'm making. A soft fan base. Enjoy what A.J. Brown will bring to the end of the Eagles' winning window. Look, I don't understand what you're saying here. I don't. People are saying that AJ Brown is a problem is missing the point of all this. He might be a problem. I'm actually the one that started the AJ Brown isn't as good as Devontae Smith thing, not the media, me. I said it first. You can go back to the Edge of Philly preview prediction show from last year. I said it before it was a thing. Doesn't mean I don't want AJ Brown on this Eagles team. It doesn't mean that AJ Brown isn't one of the 5 best wide receivers in football. I'll take the top 5 wide receiver football and all the problems he brings over bringing in any of the other problems or lesser talent that's out there. Also, get Angelo's Loud. It's actually a good book if you listened to WIP in the early days. Well, I don't know how to read, so I'm just kidding, but I don't read. On the road, Sixers lost by 20 at home. It was pretty bad yesterday, that Sixers game. Really bad. WIP, or any host writer who becomes the story. Yeah, Mark, he wrote one this weekend that was really bad. AJ fell for it and was a part of it. I think he fell for it. I wouldn't be shocked if he was a part of it, Al, but I also believe he fell for it. And that is what this whole opening first half hour of this show's all about. The fact that he fell for it and he helped them make more money by falling for it. Like, he could have gone anywhere. Doesn't he have one friend out there that has their own content channel that he could have helped by saying this? Couldn't he have just gone live on his Instagram or Twitter account and addressed these things? But no, he went there. And yes, he cooked like Reese and Jack Fred. Sure. Yeah, he said his piece and he won that argument. Absolutely. But they don't care. Like, Mark might say that Ike cares because he's a former player. He might care a little bit. But behind the scenes, he's like, yo, click right through the roof, guys. Let's print some more money. Let's continue getting our parent company out of bankruptcy. Hold on, I got to figure out what was the article that got me. It was Thursday or Friday. Marcus Hayes got an article that really annoyed me, and I forget what it was now. Must not annoyed me that much. Doc, yeah, roll us over and do, yeah. It was pathetic, man. You got Doc Rivers coming to town, and you can't do better than that. Like, that should have been alone enough to motivate you in that game. The terrible Knicks performance. Then you play a near complete game against the Cavs, and then you go out there and you lay an egg against the Bucks. The Sixers, every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in, and then they let me walk away again. Well, this Kelly Oubre put up shots. Tobias cannot make this. Tobias Harris has gone from inconsistent and very debatable person to a point where there is no defending Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris should not be starting for this team. And I know there's no other options, and I know he makes $38 million, and I know this, I know that. Mr. Tobias Harris, number one fan, can no longer support the Sixers playing him. I think he played the second most minutes in yesterday's game, or really damn close to it. He had 31 minutes, second most minutes yesterday, behind Tyrese Maxey's 38. And he took 11 shots, made 3. 8 points, 8 rebounds, 1 steal. He did have 3 blocks. Hey, good for you. Minus 14. Tobias Harris was terrible yesterday. 2 preseason games. First off, there's been 2. There was one Saturday and Sunday. We're 2-0. We're going to the World Series. We could talk Phillies, but we're not because Eagles sell. Eagles equal dancing queen. Sunny Hill is still on Sunday morning. Yeah, I don't listen to the radio anymore, Adam, though. It's XM in my car. Always XM. Always XM radio in my car. Unless I'm listening to, like, driving home from the pizza shop and I got a Sixers or Phillies game on. Mister, what's up, my man? I used to be addicted to WIP. I lived and died by what their narrative was. I was there, too. Be careful, the WIP Mafia might show up to your pizza shop and give you an offer you can't refuse. WIP wouldn't have the guts to put me on the air. WIP wouldn't have the guts to come face me. They don't. They wouldn't. Why? Because I would change their narrative. I would do everything in my power to make them better, which would initially hurt the click rate, but big picture would change the narrative. Jason Avant also wore 81 after TO. Oh, is that something? What's the edge of Philly? I guess it's some sort of media thing. Who reads any more audiobooks? I can't tell you the last book I read, Doc. I brought the same book on vacation like 4 times and never even cracked it open once. I just don't. I listen to podcasts, I listen to YouTube shows, and I watch, you know, shows on TV. I started watching The Boys this past week. Never watched it before. Got like 7 episodes into season 1. And I don't know if it's like the greatest thing in the world or the weirdest, dumbest thing in the world. I still haven't made my decision, but I'm hooked. AJ always stands on business. He's never scared. Sure. Okay. All right. Still not right what he did, in my opinion. AJ has his own YouTube channel. Oh, I didn't even know that. He could have gone on his own damn YouTube channel and invited Ike Reese onto his channel and still cooked them. He would have got the click rate. Didn't even know there's probably a lot more athlete YouTube channels than I realize, and I just don't know. I don't. I listen to content creators, not athletes normally. We're all part of WIP thing. We all want the clicks, the attention. Don't. Oh, again. So did you miss the part in the beginning where I said I understand what they did? I'm a business owner. It's all about making money. I don't hate what they did. I hate sometimes how they use it to trick the casual people, but I get what they did. And you know what? It's good business. I'm always trying different things, Maddie. Always trying different things with my business on social media. Always. Some work, some doesn't. I'm all for it. Like it's all about making money. And even I, to an extent, I don't go through the clickbait titles as often, but even I, from time to time, have. It's all what you do. When do you do your mock draft? When is draft night 1? So I'll do mock draft on night 2. What's the point of mock drafts anyway? They never write anyway. Now you know why I don't really watch the Sixers until playoffs. Last night was bad. Batum did not show up. He was horrible. Batum, I thought, the Knicks game, it was just, a little rust because he was, out for such a long stretch of time. And then the Cavs game, he didn't really play that great. And then yesterday, they had to make him the backup center because Mo Bamba is unplayable. And then Paul Reed got into foul trouble, so Mo Bamba had to play. Batum might not be healthy. He might be best suited next to somebody like Joel Embiid, and we don't have Joel Embiid. And 3, he's being forced to play center, and he's not a center. There's a lot of problems with Nicholas Batum right now. There's all the different angles you could take with the Batum situation. Anybody want a crumble cookie? No, because I don't buy $12 cookies, Mitchy Poo. Good morning, Mitchy Poo. But who can afford $12 cookies? 11 shots without Joel Embiid is not Assassin's Score mentality. Oh, man. Tobias, man. Tobias is so bad. So bad right now. And he's been inconsistent. I've supported him, whatever. But now he's at the point where he's doubting himself. It's as much mental as physical with Tobias Harris now. So at least in before, he would make quick decisions. They weren't the right decisions, but he'd make quick decisions. Now he's hesitating and questioning everything he does. Bad. Like, I don't know how you play him. I don't know who you start. But hell, who would be upset if Ricky Council starts against the Celtics tomorrow night? I don't think anybody would. Who would be upset if Heald and Maxey and Melton started with Reed and Batum? Nobody. Hell, start Kyle Lowry. I don't care. Kyle Lowry doesn't look like anything since game 1 with the Sixers. He looked slow yesterday. He ain't anything special. But I'd start anybody right now. Hell, bring back Furkan Korkmaz. At least he's got the confidence of Turkish MJ running through his veins. Sixers aren't. So I did look at this, K1. They are going to make the playoffs, the Sixers. Now, are they going to make the top 6 seeds so they don't avoid the play-in series? No. But there's something like, I forget now, I don't have the standings up anymore, 11.5 or 12.5 games up on the 11 seed Brooklyn Nets. There's only like 25 games left approximately. They would have to go on an epic collapse to completely fall out of the playoffs. But they are not making the 6 seed. They're going to be somewhere in that 8 to 9 range, in my opinion. And then they're going to get bounced straight away because this team ain't anything right now. They're just not. There's not one team in the top 7 that I think that they could beat in a best of 7 or 5 series. I got my Elon Musk brain microchip on order. I'm gonna just download all the books from the cloud. I gotcha. Calm down, Phil, aka CM Dunk. Who's dunking on me? Sunny Hill is close to 90. In the living room, Sunny was great. Shows for old school Philly hoops guys. Um, yeah, we listened to some great. I still was a very, very partial to Stan Hochman and his very like raspy voice. And when Stan Hochman would show up on um, Daily News Live occasionally, I love Stan Hochman. I think that sounded more like somebody else than Stan Hochman, but I loved Stan Hochman. He was my go-to back in the day. The boys are great. It's actually better. I didn't even know it was based off a comic book. I just know everybody's been talking about the boys for a long time, and I think they're about to do season 4. I wanted something to watch the other night, so I started it. Been watching 2 or 3 episodes a night. It's not bad, but I'm not sure if it's smart or insane. I don't know. Everybody tells me it's either great or awful, but everyone says you got to give it at least into season 2 before you make your decision. WIP did not broker that call at all. Maybe they did. Maybe they did. But it still doesn't mean that it's right. It still doesn't mean it was exactly what they wanted. It still doesn't mean that they didn't. A.J. Brown and the Eagles didn't fall right into their trap. They sent that bear trap out there. Mock drafts are stupid, man. I agree. I mean, I'll have some draft experts on. I'll have Shane Half on soon again. Try to work something out with Deebs from EOP. I'll see who else is writing draft mocks for PSN. We'll get people on here to talk these prospects. I think last year I did one mock draft, like the Monday or Tuesday before the draft on this show. That's it. It's just not my thing. Enough WIP talk already. I'm trying to move on to the Sixers. Mock drafts are great content. They are. There's clickbait content, mock drafts. It was. Nicholas Batum was terrible yesterday. He was terrible yesterday. He's been terrible since he's returned. Paul Reed was having a good game until he got into foul trouble and they refused to call fouls. Well, the Giannis thing, look, we've been watching Giannis Antetokounmpo for many years now, and he gets away with the travel. He gets away with the shoulder push-off. He gets away with so much. I saw a video recently, it was like right before the All-Star break, where he actually was called for the shot clock on a free throw thing, and he looked so offended. I don't think he's been called for it since, though, because teams or refs are afraid to call that on him. They put the rule into place to speed people like him up at the free throw line, and they don't call the rule. So we're used to it. But Paul Reed, look, again, Daryl Morey and the Sixers try to tell us that they're trying to compete. They're trying to do what they can to float and tread water till Joel Embiid comes back, if he does. But they don't go out and get a better option. Paul Reed is the perfect backup to Joel Embiid. The perfect 1-2 punch there. But Paul Reed as the main guy is not good enough. Especially when Mo Bamba is your backup. Mo Bamba wasn't good. If Paul Reed does not get into foul trouble yesterday, Mo Bamba doesn't see the floor. You saw that because the backup 5 minutes in the first half went to Nicholas Batum, which now you're playing him. I saw Nicholas Batum trying to guard Brook Lopez. He's not going to guard Brook Lopez well. That's not his job. That's not what he's supposed to do. Daryl Morey not addressing the backup center position or center depth, spot was a major, major misstep. It takes two to tango. It takes this. I know. I know all the rumors and all the things people say. I don't care. You're trying to tell us that you're trying to win, but yet not doing anything to actually try to win. All the Sixers right now, including Maxey, are not as effective without Joel. I don't trip over this team. Well, they play every other night. It's easy to get. It's easy to live and die on each moment, each game. Yesterday's game, I almost said last night. Yesterday afternoon's game was atrocious. If I was like Mark and dropped hard-earned American dollar bills on 2 tickets to maybe slip and fall down a flight of stairs at the Wells Fargo Center, I'd be pissed. To see that effort or lack of effort from that team last night, it wasn't good. Not at all. It was weak. Weak all around from that Sixers team. A bad decision is better than no decision. Tony Soprano. When did Tony Soprano say that? I don't remember that. I know my Soprano quotes. I don't remember that one. Kelly Oubre had 15 shots, and 4 of them were dunks. The days of Tobias are nearly over. Yeah, I mean, Marshawn, just wait. Just wait till Daryl Morey gives Tobias a 3-year, $55 million contract in the offseason to come back. I'm just waiting for it, man. Just waiting for it. Lowry played in cement shoes and passed shot a lead ball. Well, boy, is he slow. I know. How dare you criticize one of your Nova boys? Lowry, man. I said it when Pat, he's the Pat Bev campaign thing, whatever. Lowry's slow, man. He's washed. He's cooked. He got nothing in the tank. But you know what Kyle Lowry does do? Tries. He tries to work with what he's got. He just don't got much. Kyle Lowry does look like he's got 2 bricks in his shoes. If we play the Cavs in the first round, then we're advancing. Feels like the Cavs are the only good team we could beat. Because the Cavs kind of stink. I ain't going to lie. A little bit overrated. Donovan Mitchell is not a lead winner. He can't be the one and lead you to victory. He's a much poorer version. He's not a poor man's version. He's a homeless man's version of Dame Lillard, basically. I agree with this, Mark. This, and supposedly some of the names I see, I don't listen to them, but the names I see that do the overnight shifts and stuff, it's the 3 main time slots: the morning slot, the midday slot, and the afternoon slot. That's where you get the click rate. That's where the advertising dollars are brought in. It's all about the advertising dollars in radio. Hey, I find a sponsor, I might have to start doing stuff like that. You got to keep the advertisers happy. They got to try to swing primo hoagies into their lap. Flyers just one goalie away from the cup. Feeling, I don't know about that, K1. But why can't? It's like goalie is similar to like wide receiver in Philly. Every time we think we've got one in Philly, wide receiver, we run them out. Every time we think we've got the goalie, something bad happens and we don't. We either trade him away or he goes to jail. I don't know. We can't have good goalies in Philly. And it's frustrating. It's really, really frustrating. Mosca doesn't get the Alcas. Moscow gets it. Moscow gets it. You know what, Phil? Tobias is pricing himself down to come back on an $18 million year contract. It is true, man. He's really he doesn't want to leave. Yo, the funniest thing I saw, and I shared it out on Twitter. Funniest thing yesterday from before the game, JoJo was there, and you had little Arthur, who's not so little already. Little Arthur by his side. He picks him up. There's a video of him picking him up, and all the players are coming over, and Tobias goes up like this to get a high five from Arthur, and Arthur like turns his head away right away and points to the Tyrese Maxey. And Maxey comes over and high fives him. Even Joel Embiid's like 3-year-old son is done with Tobias Harris. That's when you know. Like if I'm Tobias, I'm like, oh my God, even a 3-year-old kid knows that I'm useless. That to me was the most hilarious part of yesterday, period, for the Sixers. Stop. No, stop. I wasn't queued up for the stop t-shirt. Check it out. Link in the description of the show. My t-shirt store. You can get the stop shirt, the Core 12 shirt, the OG Fairway to Heaven back tomorrow night. Guys, what the hell? When Arthur is saying no to Tobias Harris, you know you got a problem. When I'm criticizing Tobias Harris, you know, man, Cheapoo, it was me and Scotty. We're the last 2 Tobias Harris defenders on this in this city. And I'm pretty sure Scotty's not on board with him anymore either. Pretty sure I'm not alone in the Tobias Harris supporter category that's lost all faith. The guy is not just inconsistent. He's lost all confidence whatsoever in his abilities right now. And I don't see an end in sight because he's not going to magically break out of his slump against the Boston Celtics. Now, down the line, maybe against the Hornets or something like that, he does. And Tobias is still a good basketball player. He'd still dominate the YMCA in Kennett Square when they had their open shoot around, maybe, unless I show up, lock him down. He's going to have that moment where he reminds us that he's good and drops 30 in a game, in a meaningless game against a bad basketball team. Who's defending Carter Hart? Nobody's defending Carter Hart. No one would dare do that. We just can't have good things. That's the thing. It was funny because, like, when I was doing, like, weekly, I don't even know if I was doing morning shows yet or just weekly shows, and Carter Hart, should we trade him because we weren't ready, was a conversation. Maybe it was on the morning show. And I'm like, how do you trade Carter Hart? Well, now I look like a fool for not trading Carter. Wanted to trade Carter Hart then. Now you can't trade him. Now he ain't going to play hockey again, maybe ever. That's a problem. Welcome to the dark side. I don't want to be on the dark side, Mitch. I want to be in the light. I want to be a positive person. I honestly hate criticizing people. I do. I want to be nothing but positive all the time. But I can't. I'm biased. My man Brian just put his 2 weeks notice in, one of my part-time drivers. Tobias, if you need a job, you can deliver pizzas in Kennett Square. Sure, why not? I don't know if I would pay him what he needs to be like my pizza maker. I'm not sure. He would only show up every other day to work. But delivery driver, I think he could do that. I want to be the anti-Cilio. I want to be the anti-Sims, the anti-WIP. I do. Then you watch yesterday's game and you see Tobias Harris just, man, he catches the ball and you can count 1,000, 2,000 before he even decides what he's doing. I mean, let's pull this up again. 31 minutes, 3 of 11 shooting. I know he had 8 rebounds, 3 blocks, but man, you got this team without Joel Embiid, and your highest paid player that's playing on the team scores 8 points. Anthony Melton breaks out of his slump, plays 18 minutes, and has 16 points. Shot 4 or 8 from deep. Man, just play him more. Like, there's no reason to see Tobias Harris at 31 minutes. Sometimes I kind of feel like maybe there's some pressure from Daryl Morey to keep playing him. I don't understand whose decision it is. I mean, Batum was playing bad. They benched him. He only played 17 minutes. Might be on a little bit of a minutes restriction, too. Well, man, Ricky Council had 7 minutes yesterday. Give him some run. I don't know. Campaign. He's supposed to be a shooter. Give him more run. You're already playing small ball. Play more small ball. Play even smaller ball. Who knows? But he keeps trotting Tobias out there 30-plus minutes a game, and it's nauseating to watch. It's bad. And look, this team without Joel Embiid is never going to compete with a team like the Milwaukee Bucks. Whether you like the Bucks or not, it is what it is. Without Joel Embiid, they're just not as talented. Plain and simple. This team was constructed to be effective around Joel Embiid. Stop with this, Mitch. Because as soon as you said this, he was like 4 of 6 or 5 of 7. He didn't make another 3-point shot the rest of the game last night after you tweeted this out to me. Just so you know. He was like 5 of 7. He ended up like 5 of 17 for the game from deep. Just so you know, you jinxed that last night by putting that out there on the Twitter land. Just so you know. Used to be a catch and shoot player. What happened now? Yeah, stop. But maybe there's some pressure. I don't know. This team is built to win around Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's not here. Might not be here the rest of this year. So, they're just not built the right way. But even if they were, without Joel Embiid, you couldn't have expected them to beat the Bucks yesterday. That's a tough ask. But then on the flip side, you kind of want them to. How is a Sixer? How is Tyrese Maxey, Melton? I'm just thinking of the guys, Paul Reed, who couldn't see the floor under Doc Rivers. Tobias Harris, whatever, was always being pushed around, changed what his role was here. How those guys couldn't get up and put a little bit more energy into a game when Doc Rivers was the opposing coach. Tyrese Maxey was literally put on the bench last year by Doc Rivers. And he couldn't give a little bit more? He tried. He really did. Tobias Harris couldn't give a little bit. Paul Reed should have had the most dominating game of the season last night because he should have had a little bit extra juice in his system to beat up on Doc. But no. Yeah. So stop it with the clay. I agreed. You intrigued me and I was on board for it. I mean, we were both called idiots for thinking it, but whatever. Mitchy Mush. It's kind of like Mikey Mush. Mitchy Mush. I like it. He should change his Twitter name to Mitchy Mush. Tobias or Danny Green? I don't know, man. They both have cement bricks or cement feet. Tobias Harris has aspirations to become an MVP of the Shanghai Sharks. I made a joke about that, about Ben Simmons going over to China. He would drop 57 points in his first, 51 games. They are built around Embiid. That is exactly what everyone wanted. The problem with a team built around a single player has this type of problem. Agreed. And there's other theories. Should you build around Joel Embiid? I mean, I'm not saying trade Joel Embiid. I'm just saying, should it be built differently and then have Joel Embiid be a part of it? Can a team built around a half-court offense type guy like Joel Embiid be effective anymore? Do you want more running and gunning? I don't know. But you're right. It's built around Embiid. You take him out of the equation, then you got a bunch of parts that don't fit with Tyrese Maxey. Because that's what you got. The Buddy Hield love affair is over. People are already bashing Buddy Hield. I told everybody, Buddy Hield was a nice pickup. Everyone thought Buddy Hield was the life and savior, and he's proven he's a better player than I thought, or a more well-rounded player than I thought he was. But now all of a sudden, I mean, what did Buddy Hield do yesterday? 4 of 13? You're going to get that. Shooter's going to shoot. He's going to keep shooting. But his last couple outings haven't been like his first couple outings. Why? Because he went cold. 4 straight threes his first 3 games as a Sixer. Hasn't since then. Why? Because he's a streaky guy. Now, I still like him on the team, but especially a player with a 7-footer with history of knee injuries and back issues and facial injuries and this injury and that injury and this and that. Who's had more injuries in their career? Or whose injuries have been more frustrating, him or Allen Iverson? Because Allen Iverson was always injured too. He played through a lot of it. Joel's played through a lot of his banged up injuries too. He played hurt in the playoffs the last couple of years. But man, Allen Iverson or Joel Embiid, whose injuries frustrate you more? You really think Tobias is going to give a little bit more? Stop. Yeah, I mean, I thought you always want to give a little bit more when your old boss is coming to town. I would think. Everyone thought Harden was going to be the one to get us to the championship. Not everyone. I mean, I'm pretty sure I criticized that James Harden, just like Daryl Morey, has never won a title. So, just saying. He's not going to win a title. 4 of 13 is better than 11 shots, I guess. Maddox is up there too. What, on the injury pro? Devontae Maddox? Sure. See, doesn't matter what we try to talk about. Mark's saying we shouldn't be talking football. We should be talking other things. The conversation always steers back to football and the Eagles. Why? Because the Eagles is what people care about. That is all they care about. And that's okay. I got no problem with that. Talking Eagles. I got to mute the mic for a second. I really got to clear this out here. Hold on a second. I think like 90% of Kennett Square is second. I think I might be in that 90 percentile now. Hopefully it's a quick one, but who knows? But anyway, the conversation always steers back to the Eagles. But what do you blame more with the Sixers? I like a variety of topics, not just one. All right, well, I can throw Eagles in there, Phillies in there. I can say, do we have a leadoff hitter controversy in Clearwater, Florida at Baycare Park or whatever the complex is called? I was going to save that for tomorrow. Kick off with that topic tomorrow. See what today's lineup is like. Could have brought that Phillies conversation in. Who do you dislike the most on the Sixers? Tied between Bamba and Harris. See, I don't dislike anybody. I like everybody. I'm a lover, not a hater. But who is pissing me off as a Sixers fan the most? Tobias Harris, because he's the starter. Mo Bamba doesn't piss me off. Daryl Morey pisses me off for bringing Mo Bamba in here. Daryl Morey pisses me off for not upgrading Mo Bamba at the deadline. So Mo Bamba, I have no problems with. Mo Bamba isn't the problem. The problem is to Daryl Morey. Letting Mo Bamba be the next best option behind Paul Reed. Daryl Morey's the problem. They're not having a better option than Paul Reed for when Joel Embiid goes down. And it takes two to tango, I know, with Chicago and Andre Drummond and this and that, whatever. I get it. But where there's a will, there's a way. And see, the thing is, I'm sure that Daryl Morey called other teams. But think about this. Daryl Morey's always been so laser focused. He's got the blinders on for James Harden. And all this deadline, he only had the blinders on for Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond didn't work out, and here we are. We hear that he calls on LeBron James and Kevin Durant, but did he call on any other backup center out there? Any starting center out there? Did he try to get anybody else to play center in Philly? Yeah, that's not Mo Bamba's fault. That's Daryl Morey's fault for making him the second best option on the Sixers right now at center. And I stand by that. That is not Daryl or Mo Bamba's fault. Just like it's not Tobias Harris's fault that he's making $38 million. That's the Sixers front office fault, right? You can't be mad at people for being put in positions that they're going to fail in. Now, how Mo Bamba misses a put back dunk when he's 75 feet tall, I don't know. Mo Bamba, in theory, should be a good basketball player. But he's not. Not everybody that's tall can be a good basketball player. But again, it's not his fault. It's not Nicholas Batum's fault that he was struggling yesterday in the backup 5 role. Shouldn't be there. It's not Tobias Harris's fault that he's not getting benched because, realistically speaking, we want to see Ricky Council or somebody else start, right? But realistically speaking, the team is trying to sell to the fans that they're trying to win. Benching Tobias Harris and his $38 million for some G leaguer named Ricky Council that no one knew before this year or 6 weeks ago, knew anything about him till recently. It's not their fault that he could have traded Tobias Harris out of here. But he didn't want to include Tobias Harris for Bogdanovich and Burks. It's Daryl Morey's fault for letting Tobias Harris be, on paper, not on the court, on paper, one of the best options the team's got. To me, this season, it's falling apart because Joel Embiid got hurt. But I think it was more salvageable than we realized. And that is on Daryl Morey. 1,000% on Daryl Morey that this team is in the position they're in right now. In theory, this stream should have 10,000 live viewers. In theory, it should. In theory, everything everybody complains about, this show is the anti to. We do everything you complain that you don't like. We do the other. We do what you want. But yet, the 10,000 people are still listening to bozos over on the net, on the radio, on the dial. In theory, the Flyers should have a goalie, but that goalie was an idiot and did something really offensive and awful and terrible and should never play hockey again. Morey has a man crush on Tobias. He will not let Nurse bench him. I've seen a few people say that, Mitch, on social media after yesterday's game. And there might be a bit. Yeah, I think there's a bit of truth to it. If Howie Roseman can control the active roster on game day for the Eagles, Daryl Morey can control who's starting and who's not for the Sixers. Bias towards Tobias and bias against Daryl. WIP. Yeah, if Tobias Harris wants to come on here and defend himself, just like A.J. Brown called up Eichen, whatever his name is, Tobias is more than welcome. If Daryl Morey, the fact that Daryl Morey hasn't blocked me yet is insane. I mean, I've never said anything offensive. I've just never said anything nice about him. They're welcome. They can dial into the show. I'll send them the link to this show. They are more than welcome to sit opposite of me. Just like I've always said, Chris Sims and Dan Cilio, you'll want to have a place to say your piece? Come on. Sure. I'll play the WIP click through the click rate mentality, but I'm not going to change what I do here. I'm not. In reality, Tobias Harris is beyond trash and should be blamed for 11 field goal attempts. Yeah. Dude, there was one play in yesterday's game. I think he was post up on it was when they were going right to left. He was post up by the free throw line. I think it was Mo Bamba or Paul Reed gave him a behind the back pass. He caught it in a perfect position. And he was able to back his defender down to like 3 feet to the rim. And he passed the ball away. It was like Ben Simmons level against the Hawks pass up. Just saying. And when he did that, and when he passed that shot up, I just looked at my thoughts and said, he's got no confidence left in himself. He shot. Mentally speaking, he was shot. Got the ball exactly where he wanted it. Was able to do exactly what he wanted to do with the ball and pass the shot up. And it really, really, really frustrated me big time. Stiefel Morey. Well, first off, you spelled Stifle wrong, which is hard to do when it says Stiefel on the screen. Just so you know, you got to spell it right. I would get more views than Tucker and Putin guaranteed. Yeah, I didn't even watch that one. So, in reality, Mo Bamba is a waste of height. Maybe less Bamba, perhaps. I think it's kind of ironic that he's now Mamba number 5. See how funny I am? I'm a funny guy. Stupid jokes. I forget. I sent my man Jason a joke yesterday, and he said we can't be friends anymore because it was too cheesy. I don't even remember what the joke was. I'll bring it up tomorrow on Fairway to Heaven. I'll dig through our text message chain to find that. But yeah, he's a waste of a roster spot. He is unplayable. But Batum can't be your backup center. You don't have any. Isn't there somebody on the 76ers, the Blue Coats? I almost called them the 87ers. It's been a while since they were that. Isn't there a backup center on the Blue Coats they can call up? I mean, Mo Bamba yesterday played 11 minutes, mostly in the second half. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, no points. He actually was a +8. How? I have no idea. But it was a +8. Took 1 shot. I guess that was the missed put-back dunk. Had 3 rebounds and 2 assists. That's it. 2 personal fouls. Pretty bad. Pretty bad from Mo Bamba there. Not much else I could say positive about him at all. Are we going to talk Joel trade? Not right now. Not right now. Don't even start that as a joke, sarcasm, or anything. Because I said it a few weeks ago before he got hurt. Maybe it was a little longer than a few weeks now since he's been hurt. I'm going down with the Joel Embiid ship. I'm not trading him. Just not. But in reality, there is a conversation to be had that in theory, it might be time. I'm just not going to do it. There was Charles Bassey. What's he doing now? I'm pretty sure he's doing nothing in the NBA right now. In fact, I think he's hurt, actually, right now. Charles Bassey isn't any better. But that goes back to the Doc Rivers. Never played these guys. Yet the ones that are still here from the Doc Rivers era couldn't get themselves awake enough to put a little extra effort when Doc Rivers comes back to town. Doc Rivers beat the Timberwolves in Minnesota. They came to Philly and gave the Sixers a stone-cold stunner. I have one question. Would you ask Pop that question? Pop wouldn't have let Doc Rivers beat him. Well, I don't know. Doc Rivers now what, up to 5-7 with the Bucks? It's starting to settle down and level out there in Milwaukee, I guess. Nobody's put a microphone in front of him to say something stupid in the last week. Like, how can you let Doc Rivers, who can't win? He was 4-7 with the Bucks going into yesterday. How can you let him beat you in Philly? One thing in Milwaukee, but in Philly, guys. Like, it's pathetic. Really, really is pathetic. Korkmaz might not even come back from Turkey. After he was cut, after the deadline, nobody picked him up right away. He decided to go back to Turkey and spend some time with Familia. And he hasn't come back yet. No one's called him. Kind of feel bad. I figured some bad team would bring him in to put some points on the board for them. But no, nobody is. Do you think Morey will? Well, it's not happening anytime soon, Adam. Let's be honest. This is a great question. Daryl Morey ain't going anywhere. And the reason why is he just got an extension. They literally just in like the last month or two extended him through 28 season. I think maybe the 29 season. Whatever, they extended Daryl Morey's contract to line up exactly with Nick Nurse's contract. So Daryl Morey ain't getting fired. He's in control. This team with all these picks and all this cap space we're going to have this offseason, the next year's team is going to be another team in Daryl Morey's likeness, which, let me tell you, is not good. I have a big zero faith in what Daryl Morey will do this offseason. Because you know what's pathetic? We're still the 5 seed in the NBA, in the Eastern Conference right now. But I'm already talking about next. I always say, we'll talk about next season in the offseason. No, I'm already, with 25 regular season games left, talking about next offseason. And I have no faith that Daryl Morey can make the right decisions. You look at what his deadline deal was this year. You look at what his offseason was coming into this year. Every move. Mistake after mistake after mistake. Blinders constantly on. Oh, man. I have zero faith in Daryl Morey and what he's capable of doing. Who would you like to see on this team next year to round out the roster? I don't know. You know what's going to happen, though? Because the free agent room is not very deep this offseason. Daryl Morey's move is either going to be max extend Buddy Hield, which is going to be a total disaster. That's going to be Tobias Harris all over again. Or he's going to make a massive trade to L.A. for 33-year-old Paul George, who can't stay on the floor. And he's going to trade 3 first-round picks and something of value for Paul George. And that's going to be a disaster. That is what Daryl Morey's going to do. I don't know who I want to see. Because I don't know who else realistically will be available. But the rumors I've heard are Paul George. And once Daryl Morey gets those blinders on, he's not. Oh. Hield is now the second option. He is not built to sustain. No, he's not. Buddy Hield should be your 4th option. And on this team, as constructed with Joel Embiid back, he's still your 3rd option. Well, Tobias Harris might be. I don't know. He should be every team's 4th option. He should be their sniper. But right now, he's got to run the offense. He's got to do it all. Again, I ask, who is unemployed right now that has built a championship team? Bob Myers is employed by Josh Harris to fix his football team. I'm not saying I have the answers. All I can say is I know I can recognize the problem. And yeah, the next person might not do better. But it's not saying that the next person they bring in here to replace Daryl Morey with wouldn't be better. Might be worse, he might be better. But you don't know till you take that chance. You got to go off of track records. And Daryl Morey's track record is not as good as people think it is. Yeah, I kind of joked about this at the deadline. Maybe. But honestly, at this point, I mean, he's a shell of his former self. He's going to have 2 more years at $45 million, I think is what it is, after this year on his contract. Do you really want 2 more years? You want 34, 35, 36-year-old Jimmy Butler at $45 million? I don't know. Don't look for me for solutions. I identify the problem. I don't necessarily know the answers to the problem. I don't have a cheat sheet. I'm not allowed to cheat on this test. I don't got the answers. I find the issues. And it's up to you guys to give me potential fixes. Jimmy Butler was just brought up. It's not a good fix. That's just another slow person on this team. Klay Thompson was not a fix. He was just a fun idea. I don't know what the answers are. K1, he only has the complaints, not the complaints. I identify the problems. That's the nicer way of saying I complain a lot, right? I identify the problem, and then we discuss solutions. Yeah, you're the complainer for sure. And we're going to do a little late reset here. You're watching Trend in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Hit that like, share, subscribe, retweet button. Anybody that hasn't commented yet, drop your comments. Don't have too many people watching. We're up close to 30 now. We're at 17 people live watching. And if you're watching on replay, you got to get in live. You got to view this show live. Only place where your opinions actually matter. Unless you're Marshawn and K1, then your opinions don't mean anything. You're just here to distract me with weird comments. Anyway, only 8 likes. Dude, there was a time during football season, this show was doing 25, 30 likes on YouTube alone on Philadelphia Sports Network. Give everybody in the description, there's a link to a separate YouTube page, my personal YouTube page. If you guys wouldn't mind going over there and clicking subscribe to that, I'd greatly appreciate it. But guys, what's going on here? The algo has tanked once football season ended. That's why we continue to try to bring football back into it, because that's a year-long business. Let's talk movies. I was trying to think of a movie to bring up to talk. Did LA Confidential a week and a half ago. And I wanted to bring up Arlington Road. It's a dark movie. But it's another movie, I think, that doesn't get enough credit for the acting and the story that's in it. No, it's our joy to complain. No one is paying us to do it, so it's not a job. I mean, I make a couple pennies doing this. Not a lot, but a couple. Super chats are always greatly appreciated. I would never actually physically ask for them. That's a good point. Yeah, exactly. WIP don't want us to like the stream. Oh, they're paying you guys, not WIP is paying you guys. You're all just a bunch of bots. I've never met any of you guys in person. You're just a bunch of bots that they pay to ruin my stream. Arlington Road. So, this about like 6-7 years ago, K1, it was on, I forget what channel it was on TV, and I love it. I think it's an amazing movie. Right up my alley of the psychology of criminals and terrorists and stuff like that. Very Criminal Mind-esque. But wherever I was watching it had on the channel guide its rating out of 4 stars. And it was rated 2 out of 4 stars. And I was like, I almost wanted to write a letter to whoever in the channel guide wrote that up. Because there's no way in shape or form that Arlington Road is a 2 out of 4 star movie. And that really annoyed me. Because I think it's such an underrated flick. Oh, stop. Oh, that is worthy of a stop. We can do comedy movies, but we got to find good comedy movies to talk about. That is not a good comedy movie. Okay? That's just a bad movie. No. Honestly, I might not even have seen it. A lot of chick flicks I've watched, I don't remember. Anyone watch State of Grace, gangster movie with Gary Oldman, Sean Penn, and Ed Harris? I have not ever seen this, Marshawn. I've never even heard of State of Grace. But that's a pretty elite trio of actors right there. Arlington Road, effed up your view of middle America or suburbs. Dude, I'm pretty sure it came out like long ago enough. But that's basically, how every American feels nowadays. Always looking over their shoulder. I don't want to get this show. Like, I was afraid to bring up Arlington Road because it could bring up some really personal feelings on life to a lot of people. But it does kind of bring up that we're always looking over our shoulders. It really does. Jeff Bridges and Tim Robbins are awesome. That fantastic. Joan Cusack was great in that. I think that's who played Robin's wife, was Joan Cusack. Just a phenomenal movie. Phenomenal movie. And it really kind of rings true in where America is right now. Again, not wanting to get too political or anything like that. So yeah, it was Joan Cusack as well. She was the wife, right? Yeah. Desai went to the Rams and we play them next year. Okay. Jonathan Cannon, we play this year too. Sean Desai will revamp his image and probably get another chance down the line. Not right away. The Rams always picking up our cast off. First Carson Wentz. I saw one of my funniest tweets of this weekend. I won't brag. I'm going to pat myself on the back. I saw a report from the Inquirer about a ram on the loose in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. And I tweeted this, and it was funny, but it realistically was my first thought is Carson Wentz in Jersey? Like, I really thought that. The Longest Yard is not a good movie. It's terrible. The original is 10 times better than the Sandler one. John C. Reilly is in it too, and Robin Wright. Okay. I'm going to have to write this down. State of Grace. Of Grace. Do we know what streaming service it's on, Marshawn? Let me know. Arlington Road is a movie that you can only watch once all the way through, because if you weren't paranoid before, you would be at. Absolutely. I've always been a very vigilant person. Duck. Very, very, very much so. After I got robbed at my pizza shop many years ago, made me even more vigilant. And then, with the state of the world, even more so vigilant. This is an interesting question. Lost to Gannon at home is worse than the Glen Rivers. Oh, absolutely. Because that Eagles team had Super Bowl aspirations. I guess the Sixers technically have NBA championship aspirations, but man. I have it on DVD. What does that say about me? It says says you have good taste. It says you're out of touch with life because you still own DVDs. That's what that says about you, K1. I remember about like 3 years ago, I put all my DVDs I owned in a box and put them on the marketplace. It was like 50 DVDs and sold them for like $20. I don't have a DVD player. I never even owned a Blu-ray player because I stopped caring about buying DVDs a long time ago. I may still have my CD case somewhere, but I might have sold that somewhere. And probably my last 200 CDs, I think that's gone too. I don't own any of that stuff anymore. It's on the frowned upon sites, Phil. The frowned upon sites. What is a DVD? Is that Rob Van Dam's brother? Rob Van Dam. So AEW joke. It's funny. He keeps making these little appearances with AEW and other sites, and occasionally he'll pop up on WWE. But AEW is purposely advertising Rob Van Dam to appear on April 20th. Think about that. Okay, just think about that. And what that really is. Just think about it. All right. And is that smart? And it's just like AJ Brown getting tricked to call in the WIP. It really is. Think about it. Bruh, LA Knight is 40 years old. How is he just getting over now? Dude, he was over as Eli Drake, you dummy. Okay? If you know, you know. Just saying. He's been on Brooklyn Nine-Nine as an actor in the past. LA Knight's been around the block. LA Knight was in WWE development like 10 years ago and then got cut, or 12 years ago. Just so you know. If you know, you know. I watched AEW on Saturday night for a little bit. It was terrible. Terrible collision. Watching Arlington Road convinces me of the need for physical media. Am I not physical media? I'm just, on your screen media. I don't know. It's a movie. I definitely have to go back and rewatch it again. It's been probably 4 or 5 years since I've actually watched it. But it will always rank up there. If I had to do a list of my favorite movies that are underrated, Arlington Road would be in that top 3 or 4 LA Confidential obviously is number one because it should be a lot better than it is in the movie rankings. Anyone still have cassettes anymore? Um, no. I don't think I have any cassettes. No, definitely don't. I know if my pops was still around, he'd still be playing his record player. We had growing up in Delco, we had the formal living room, which nobody was ever allowed to sit in. Typical old school Italian thing, but he had his record player in there. And he had some records. He would play them occasionally. He'd sit in there and listen to his record player. Versace rock, maybe lose the diamond necklace. Also, why doesn't he do the eyebrow thing anymore? I think he does kind of sort of. But when he first came back like a few weeks ago, his eyebrow just kind of looked stuck up there. I was like, did he have a stroke or something like that? His eyes just looked crooked. His eyes just looked like that. He did the eyebrow one too many times, and his face just got stuck like that. Versace rock. Man. I did not watch Elimination Chamber live or on replay. Could care less. It was as predictable could be. But whatever. People care more about talking about wrestling and movies right now than talking about the Sixers. I think the conversation was more heated, more enjoyable when we were talking AJ Brown calling in the WIP. Is CM Punk really hurt? Yeah, he's really hurt. He's out like 6 months. Be lucky if he's back for SummerSlam. Honestly, seriously, really is the case. Guys, let's we got 10, 12, 13 minutes left in this show. Let's wrap it up with a neat bow here. Wrap up these final two. I mean, tomorrow, maybe I might bring in some Phillies conversation to the equation. We'll continue talking Sixers because obviously they play tomorrow night against the Celtics. I'm going to say my final pieces on this AJ Brown WIP thing here. We'll talk Eagles tomorrow, whatever. I had things I wanted to talk about last week, Eagles related, that we never got to. But we'll get into it tomorrow as well. Just looking at all my notes here. There's a lot of things. I'll pull some notes forward here on my new notebook. What's up, Dave? How you doing? You're always welcome. Late, early, on time, whenever. We're going to wrap it up. I said it was awful. This AJ Brown conversation, okay? And not because he was wrong, but because he fell for it. He gave a clickbait site that made clickbait comments even more clicks by calling in. He could have gone on his own YouTube show. He could have gone on Trending in the AM. He could have gone on Run It Back with Eastwood. He could have gone on RB Phillies channel. He could have gone on anywhere. Said his piece. A Sixers podcast, an Eagles podcast, this podcast. He could have gone on my original channel, AAT Sports. He could have gone on there. Give anybody the click through. Could have gone on Scotty Talks, Turf Talk. He could have gone anywhere and talked and said his piece. But he gave them even more clicks by calling in to them. So he fell for the trap. I don't hate it. I don't hate WIP for what they did. I think what they did was really smart business, Dave. It just pisses me off. Because he literally gave every other clickbait site now precedent to continue to do what they do. Dan Sileo is going to continue to do what he does. Chris Sims is going to multiply his Jalen Hurt clicks now. Why? Because now there's precedent that it works. And that's what frustrates me the most. Does CM Punk cost somebody a belt in WrestleMania? No, I think he'll be on the pre-show, post-show. Maybe they put him on comment. He'll be around Philly, but he's not going to be physically involved at all. The combine starts today. I hate the combine, Mitch. I really do. I hate individual workouts, like private individual workouts, like when you have like a pro day, because it's so structured and all. But the combine, man, people read too much into the high jump, the width of your hand, your 40-yard dash. What the 40-yard dash? Like, it means nothing. You're never running a 40-yard dash. What NFL offensive lineman do you care can run a great 40-yard time? The combine is so overrated, in my opinion. And so many draft experts raise people or drop people on their board because of their combine stats. I want to see physical on the field in games. That's all I care about. There's a difference between game speed and combine speed. I felt like he was talking to Ike like he was some YouTube kid and not Eagles alumni and a great player. Well, Ike Reese wasn't a great player. He was a good player. He was a backup / special teamer. Tyreek Hill wants to box Jake Paul. Reek needs to chill. Is this true? I didn't know anything about this. I don't really follow Jake Paul much. I only follow Logan Paul because I think he's really put in a hell of an effort becoming a pretty legit wrestler. Underwear Olympics. Funny. More overrated. NFL Combine or Tobias Harris? Oh, man. See, the thing is, I've been saying this about the Combine since before I was a content creator, Mitchy Poo. So I've always been anti-Combine. I've always been anti who the hell cares what a person's 40-yard dash is. How many people have set the all-time record in the 40-yard dash and then become a bust of an NFL player? So I guess the Combine, because I have given some Tobias Harris credit over the time. I'm just saying, like, the Combine means nothing to me. Like, you get some good. It's a good time to interview these players. You know what I care about when I'm picking players? I'm like, what are their on-field accomplishments? And two, the one-on-one interview. You're drafting a quarterback with a top pick, Caleb Williams. Is he going 1, 2, whatever? I want to sit in a room with him and break down film. Can he digest information? That's all. And what was his on-field accomplishments, and can he break down film? If you're an offensive lineman or a running back, can you pick up a blitz on film study? And what you do in the game? Let's pull up some of your good plays, compliment it. Pull up some of your bad plays. What did you see here and why? Just saying. The rest of those individual drills, meaningless to me. He is the new Ben Simmons. He's going to get Ben Simmons level hate over the next month of this NBA season. There will be nobody even close to getting Ben Simmons hate like Tobias Harris over the next month in Philadelphia in any of these sports. He is the new Ben Simmons right now. NFL Combine or Tyrell Moore? Is this a this or that kind of end of this show? Combine. I don't know. Daryl Moore is pretty overrated, actually. Elton John is more overrated than time. What? You do not besmirch the name Elton John on my program. That is worthy of a timeout. That is. I've seen him in concert at least 3 times. I think 3 times. I don't even know. You never besmirch Elton John. Please. I beg you. What does Caleb look like with Quez and Rager and not elite wide receivers? Yeah, look, I want to see the Combine stuff just meaningless. And then you do the Combine, then you do your pro day, your individual workouts. I don't care. Controlled situations like that, you don't get a real judgment of what these players are capable of doing. And then you get Jalen Reagor's drafted. You get Danny Watkins drafted. That's what happens. When they have great Combine workouts, that is what happens. But when did Juan now is more over? We're doing another one. Combine or Doc Rivers? Hey, at least Doc Rivers has won one title. I mean, it might have been 16 years ago, but he has won one title. Has anybody that's won a draft combine won a title? You know what I'm getting at? Can't get timed out last 10 minutes of the show. Yeah, I can. I could just cut the show off right now 5 minutes early. I do got to get to work anyway. Marshawn might have been the reason why we had to cut the show short, or K1 might be the one that forces me not to go overtime, but cut a show short just because he besmirched the great Elton John. We got the Elton John biopic. When are we going to get a Billy Joel biopic? There's a story to tell there with Billy Joel, man. All his different wives and kids and stuff. Oh, well, this is WIP. 1,000%, Mitch. Finally, something I'll pick overrated over the Combine. I'd rather watch Combine highlights than listen to any of the ear bleeders from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on WWIP. I'm trying to say WIP like Howard Stern would say NBC. WIP. Rocket Man was a decent. It wasn't a very good movie, but it was a decent flick. And Taron, whatever, however you say his name, did a great job playing Elton John. And there were some liberties taken with his story, obviously. But, it was a good flick. I would like a Rocket Man version. All you got to do, you don't even need to come up with a title. The title's written. It's The Piano Man. Rocket Man Part 2, The Piano Man. You can even get, what's his name, to play Elton John in The Piano Man for one of their face-to-face concerts. Uptown Girl. I love Billy Joel and Elton John. As a pianist, for a very long part of my time, they were my two favorites. Joel was a true genius, not the Rocket Man. The Rocket Man's an excellent piano player. Technically speaking, he's actually a better piano player than Billy Joel. Billy Joel's just more entertaining. I know Elton John is very flamboyant and over the top with some things, but Billy Joel puts on a better show than Elton John. But Elton John's a better pianist. You want to train your kid to be a piano player, you make him train him to be like Elton John. Elton John is definitely greater than the NFL Combine. There ain't no doubt there. Elton John was the Uptown Girl. Uptown Girl? No, I think it should be titled Piano Man or The Entertainer. Okay. There might be a movie called The Entertainer. I don't know. That is still my favorite concert, Piano Man. The face-to-face tour when they first played side by or opposite each other, it was like 99, I think. Well, the first time I saw them perform together, I still have a shirt somewhere in my drawer, in my closet from that concert, the face-to-face tour. Shout out to Phil Collins, too. The best lead singing drummer of all time. A.J. Brown is great at WIP. Absolutely. Even though he fell for their trap. And we're wrapping it up here. Neat bow. Last A.J. Brown WIP comment. I'm sure this conversation is going to continue. But A.J. Brown fell for the WIP trap. He fell for it. He set a precedent that is going to continue to frustrate Philadelphia sports fans for a long, long time. Man, I don't know. I'm not a Foo Fighters fan. But Dave Grohl might be one of the smartest and most talented musicians of the last 40 years. He's done so much. Producing, writing, plays multiple instruments, sings, backup guy. Dave Grohl, he might be better than, as a whole. Take the whole package together. Dave Grohl might be one of the most smartest and talented musical minds in the industry. No, I don't know about that. Maybe I would take the ear bleeders over Mo Bamba. I don't know. Who does A.J. Brown think he is? If he wasn't for football, he would be a nobody like the rest of us. Right. Okay. All right, guys. We're wrapping up Trending in the AM. Right there for the day. Passionate. I wouldn't say fun or great show. I would describe today's show as a passionate show. And I wish I would have thought of that for my cold open. Today was a passionate show. I don't know about that. Mitch, you're just nonstop with it. I love it. Passion today is what I would say today was all about. Passion. So make sure you hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button, the retweet button. Hit all the buttons, please. Help get the algorithm back on track. Show for the passionate fans. That's what this show always is. Today was my passion. Because I really, all weekend, I thought about going live on a Saturday morning before work or yesterday. Then I ended up having to go to work. Passion is definitely greater than WIP. I wanted to go because it annoyed me. We went out Friday. You guys know it was Melissa's birthday. Went out to Victory Brewing in Canada after work, buy her a beer, have some snacks, celebrate the birthday. And all I kept thinking of the entire time I was there is how I wanted to go live. I was so frustrated that he called into WIP. It's taken me an hour plus to fix my Twitter to be here at the end. Sorry. Hate to break it to you. Show's over. No overtime today. But we'll be back tomorrow. That's the great thing about Training the AM. Every morning, 8 a.m., 90 minutes of passionate sports talk. No clickbait. I should do some more clickbait. You know what I'm gonna do? One day I'm just gonna pick a flag. I'm gonna put my flag, a topic. I'm gonna plant my flag in it. It's gonna be super controversial, and we're gonna see. I'm gonna run like an experiment to see how this works. To another hour. I got a pizza shop to attend to, so that's why we got another 90 minutes tomorrow morning. A man who doesn't spend time with family can never be a real man. I spend a lot of time with my family. Anyway, guys, we got to wrap it up there. Training the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. I am Phil Stiefel. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, follow, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Phillies on the agenda tomorrow. Eagles more talk, I'm sure. Combine maybe. More Sixers talk. But, guys, we're wrapping it up. Everybody have a great Monday. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. And as always, go Birds.